Tonight's movie classic, The Cruel Sea, begins in about 15 minutes, but now we go over to the newsroom and Michael Burke.
Rescue teams from all over Britain are heading for the scene of what looks to be Britain's worst air crash tonight. Just after 7 this evening, a jumbo jet crashed onto the town of Lockerbie in the Scottish borders. It was a Pan American Boeing 747, flight number 103 from London Heathrow to Kennedy Airport, New York. We now know there were 244 people on board, including 3 children.
A Pan Am 747 jumbo jet with 255 people on board has crashed just north of the Scottish border. There's an emergency telephone number in America. It's 0101 212 880 1234. Pan Am flight PA-103 took off from London Heathrow, bound for John F. Kennedy Airport in New York at 6:25 this evening. Radar contact was lost at 7:19. The plane came down in the town of Lockerbie in Dumfriesshire. It crashed into a petrol station and a number of houses. Eyewitnesses report a huge explosion and a 300-foot fireball. There were 240 passengers and 15 crew on board. We've just had this from America.
There may have been Americans. We're sending a number of inspectors from our Pan Am certificate office here in New York, and the National Transportation Safety Board is putting together a team as well to go over there. So that would be an indication that Americans would be on board. We have no confirmation, no numbers as to injuries or fatalities at this time.
The latest and the full details on News at 10.
Bodies have been found up to 2 miles away. There's no immediate indication of why the plane crashed. Officials say there was no other airplane involved and rule out a mid-air collision. No explanation yet why the plane crashed from 31,000 feet without even time for a Mayday message.
This is the little border town of Lockerbie tonight. The air is thick with smoke, flames and the smell of aviation fuel. A crater 20 feet deep marks the spot near the main Glasgow road where the jumbo jet came down. Pan Am Flight 103 from Heathrow to New York carried 15 crew and 229 passengers. Holidaymakers bound for the States, Americans going home for Christmas. It was just after 7 tonight that the first sign things had gone awfully wrong reached flight controllers.
I have never seen anything like it, and I would like to say to our American friends, as well as to our own people in the United Kingdom, that we are grief-stricken with them. We too have suffered, and we share the grief together. We never discuss intelligence, never.
About the Avenue at all?
At about 8 minutes past 7 at the Rescue Coordination Centre here at Edinburgh, it was reported by the Civil Air Traffic Control Authorities that there had been an explosion on the ground, and this coincided with a Pan Am Boeing 747 disappearing from the radar screens.
The jet hit a petrol station, it wrecked houses on the south side of Lockerbie, the fuselage reportedly split in 2, and cars on the main Glasgow road were hit by debris. At a hotel in the town, customers heard and saw the crash.
We initially heard a rumbling over the hotel. We thought the roof was falling in. And then we heard a tremendous shudder on the ground as though it was an earthquake. And then we saw sparks and then this enormous ball of flame going about 200 or 300 feet into the air. There was debris flying everywhere.
Some houses on the south side of Lockerbie reportedly all but disappeared. Those whose homes were unhit were mostly making tea at the time of the crash.
Well, it was just about 7 o'clock we heard this almighty bang and the whole skylight. I was looking out in the back kitchen which looks over onto the A74, and it was the sky lit up and I heard this explosion. I realised it was a plane coming down, so we just got down on the floor, and as soon as we passed over and we got out and went round about the other houses, trying to get, there was a lot of elderly people staying there, so just more or less to get everybody out and see that they were all right.
I was driving up the road in the car, and you know, I heard this horrible sound. It was like a rushing and a screaming noise, and the whole sky just lit up, and then you had, it was like liquid fire started to rain down on the car, and bits of concrete and debris, and we even found a piece of the aluminium bedded in the car.
I was just driving home, you know, and then it must have been about 7:20. I'd be cassette playing in the radio, you know, and I seen this just huge, vast, enormous.
Probably came back in. Yeah.
Which station?
Only a certain number of press men
We
have been
spoke to
allowed
Downing
at
Street this
spot.
morning about it.
If you stand over in that area just now, please. Okay.
So it was the 9 o'clock.
Okay.
There is
The difficulty is that we're brought up here under police escort today.
What is this? What is
By
this
the
for?
superintendent.
And I spoke to Downing.
Lockerbie is burning. Enormous flames reach into the night sky. In the daylight, the full horror of the crash of Pan Am Flight 103 is obvious. Several houses on the ground have simply vanished, vaporized when the plane smashed into them. An enormous crater is torn through the southern edge of the town. 1,500 tons of rock and earth have been blasted out of the ground. 11 people from Lockerbie are dead, along with all 259 people who were on board.
As far as I know, I've lost my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and their house is just a 30-foot crater.
In the ruins of their homes, they search for the bodies of the aircraft's passengers. Such a catastrophe, so sudden, so great a shock for a quiet town.
It looked like a scene out of hell. This whole road was ablaze.
Didn't know what it was, and then we rushed outside and just all this debris coming down.
Air crash investigators have arrived in Lockerbie within hours of the crash.